Yep.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you once again for stopping by on the Africa Reform channel. My name is Uche, and this is Dr. Nii Darko, the founder of the Africa Reform movement. So today, we're going to go straight into it. So we're going to be talking about why is Africa so underdeveloped? Dr. Nii has had extensive insight into this particular question, and it's a question that many, many people have been asking throughout the years. So Dr. Nii, what are your thoughts? Tell us about your 4 principles of development that you mentioned in your article entitled, Why Are We So Underdeveloped?
Yeah, Uche, thank you very much for making time for me again this Wednesday afternoon, where it's evening here in Australia. Yeah. To understand why Africa is so underdeveloped, we have to start from the word development. What is development? Now, development, in my opinion, or this is the way I define it, is man's capacity to make and use tools to overcome and conquer his environment and earn a living from it.
All right.
Okay. Now, it is a mental work. It is a mental attitude. It's our capacity to make and use tools to overcome our environment and thereby make a living from that enterprise. Okay. And because development is a cerebral thing, that is why you see that just after the Second World War, and America organized the Marshall Plan for Germany, within a generation, Germany has become the greatest nation in Europe again, because the mind was there already. The development was there already. It wasn't the same. It wasn't the financial money, it wasn't the Marshall Plan that actually made Germany what it is today, but it is the developed mind which was there already, which led them to the war. Now, if the same money had been given to Africa at that point in time, we would never be like Germany. As a matter of fact, after independence, the money that Africans have siphoned from their continent to the outside world is more than what America gave to Germany. So when we look at development and we look at it in terms of any other parameter apart from a mental attitude that is able to make and use tools to overcome its environment, we miss it completely. In Africa, what they think, oh, they borrow and build, go and borrow money from somewhere, build skyscrapers, which we cannot even use any returns from it to pay for the loan. And that's one of the fundamental reasons why we are so underdeveloped. Let me explain this further. You see, like I told you in the beginning, I have my inspiration from 3 sources.
Yes.
My traditional teaching from home, my Christian teaching, and my contact with the rest of the world. And whatever I write comes from these sources. In the beginning, Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, it says that God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, and subdue the earth, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and every living thing that creeps or walks on the earth. Mm-hmm. God blessed them and said. Now, if that is the beginning of humanity, then all human beings have been endowed with this biological potential.
Yeah.
All human beings have been endowed with this biological potential. We can all be fruitful, we can all multiply, we can all replenish, and we can all subdue. And then, of course, we can all have dominion over everything. Mm-hmm. Those who have developed this biological potential to achieve these things are the developed nations of the world. Mm-hmm. And those who have not done that are the underdeveloped nations of the world. You see, last week when we spoke, I quoted Steve Biko when he said that the cultures that met and fused were the African culture and the Anglo-Boer culture. And he went on to say that whereas the African culture, the mindset was simple and unsophisticated, that of the Anglo-Boer had all the trappings of a colonial mindset, a conquest mindset. Okay? Now, this world is about those who subdue and those who are subdued. One mindset is to subdue. Another mindset is there to be subdued. You see, when Steve Biko said that, in the midst of all that was happening, he was the only one the white man killed because he had the clear understanding of how the world works. He was the only one. They put them in Robben Island. After some time, they released them. They came to power as ANC, and they've messed up because they never understood anything. Biko knew that the problem, the reason why they were beaten in the first place was because of two different mindsets. One was to subdue and conquer. The other one was simple and not sophisticated. We haven't moved from that yet. And his friend, his contemporary, like I told you last time, also said the same thing in a different way. Walter Rodney, he said that it is the responsibility of every African to understand how the system works in order to overthrow it. We haven't understood how the system works, so we cannot overthrow it, and we will be dominated.
But
Domination.
I mean, I always sometimes wonder, why is it just like the ones and twos? You have the Stephen Bikos, you have the Walter Rodneys, but they don't seem to be in great numbers. Do you see what I'm saying? The mind is there, the seeds are there, but where are the numbers that come together to actually put something together to overthrow the way things are, to give any African country the possibility and the chance to fulfill its potential?
Yeah, Steve Biko, you have to get his book, I Write What I Like. Okay? I write what I like. Immediately was arrested, he was killed in jail. When Walter Rodney returned from Tanzania to Guyana, he was shot by CIA. They're too dangerous. He said that a situation where one society relinquishes all its power to another society, sovereignty to another society, that itself is a form of underdevelopment. He wasn't talking. Now answer the question. You see, in Ghana, before 1701, the whole Ashanti nation that you know, they were under Denchira. It took only two people, Konfanoche and Kiose Tutu, to change everything. Only two people. It doesn't take many people to make a difference. In South Africa, Shaka the Zulu, it took one man to conquer everybody around him. In the Bible, when every Israelite was down and crying and somersaulting on the floor, it took one young man called David. When he came to the battlefield, to bring food to his brothers, and he said, what would they give to the one who kills this uncircumcised Philistine? His brother said, shut up, we know you're a two-known boy. We are all scared of him. He said, the more they pull him down, the more he talked. He said, I want to know what will be given to the man who kills this man, who is defying the army of the living God. His older brother, the whole Israel, were panicking. They took him to Saul. Saul put him on the big armor, whatever. I said, no, I can't use. I don't know. I don't have experience. But the God who delivered me from the bear and the lion in the wilderness, the same God delivered from this uncircumcised Philistine, I'll kill him and scatter his flesh for the birds of the air. It took one man to redeem Israel. So the question is not where are the Steve Bikos and where are the Walter Rodneys. Dr. Nii Darko is talking to you. It's enough.
Yeah,
that's the point. One man can make a difference.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. I'll fix Ghana. You see, when we look at things very superficially, When we make development a matter of race, then we'll be there, we will be where we are. You see, most people think that when Martin Luther King said that, he's looking at a time when his children will not be judged by the color of their skin, by the content of their character. People think he was speaking against the white man. No, he was speaking about those who place emphasis on their skin color, whether white or black. He's saying that black man, game up, reinforce your character, and you'll be accepted.
There is that is true. My issue is, though, just to go back to what you said, what we were discussing earlier, the men, there have been men and women who've risen up throughout the ages, but far too often it has cost them their life. Could it be that there are men and women who do have, in addition to yourself, who do have what it takes, but they're seeing that it may cost them their life and there's not a price they're willing to pay, not because they're selfish, but it is a very high price. What do you think of that?
Yes, it is a very high price. But you see, for me, there is an additional factor which I call grace. Okay, for me, because I believe.
Okay.
I believe. Okay. And I believe that if you have the grace, like we say, his grace is sufficient for me. I say that all the time. Because we can die from many things. You can die from cancer, you can die from many things.
It's true.
But if he has called you to do anything, then his grace will be sufficient for you.
Okay.
I believe that.
And would you say you believe you're called to this work? You are called to make the Reformation for Ghana. Excellent.
Yes,
excellent.
I'm called for this work because otherwise, as a medical doctor, I should not know what I know.
Right. Okay.
I write about these things freely, without referring, without reading anything. I believe it's by grace. And the grace must continue and conclude his work.
So let me ask you this then, because talk in terms of development of Africa.
Yeah.
When I look at African politics, I look at Africa, just with a little line, I don't know anywhere near as much as you do, but it looks to me like a big tangled ball of string. And out of that string, you have all these different hairs sticking out. One is like poverty. Another one is the lack of infrastructure. Another is poor education, and so on and so forth. There's so many different issues that contribute towards the way things are right here, right now. Let's just say you are in power. What are the first 5 things you would do to start to put Ghana on a path to becoming self-sufficient and to become a contender on the world stage?
Like Obama said, July 2009 in Accra, he said, make no mistake, development depends on good governance.
Yes, it does.
And this is one single thing, one single ingredient, which is missing in so many parts of Africa for so long. Okay. Now, so he made development a byproduct of good governance.
Right.
Without good governance, there can be no development. Now, what does it mean by good governance? Good leadership and a good system of government. Full stop. Okay. Good system of government relies almost entirely on a good constitution.
Right.
Because it's the constitution that defines the state. It's the constitution that defines the relationship between the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, and the governed. You see, the constitution is supposed to be the contract, the social contract, the legal contract, whatever contract between the governors and the governed. Now, if it's flawed or if it's skewed heavily to the governors, we have what we have in Africa. When it's balanced, and that's why I wrote that book, First State Charter. Because like I told the other time, the Magna Charta, the Great Charter of Liberties, is the Magna Carta, the Great Charter of Liberties, is what brought Western democracy to where it is today, where there was considerable discussion about what should happen between those who have power and those they rule the power over. We haven't had our own.
Okay.
We haven't had our own. We haven't looked at our system because we are different. You see, We are a multi-dimensional nation state, multiple ethnicities, whereas so the state and the citizen is not just straight like that, like in UK.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's multiple. We have different allegiances. We have different alliances. So now you need a certain mode of governance to try and root all these people together and let everybody feel included.
Okay.
And that
so you say, so one of the things you do would be to rewrite the constitution. Is that what you're saying?
Completely.
Okay.
We have to create a new state. That's
okay.
number one.
Right.
Now,
okay.
once you create a container, then you can fill it in what you want to fill it. If you have a dirty container and you put water from the River Jordan, it's going to be water. It's going to be dirty. If you have a broken container and you put water from even heaven, it will leak.
Yeah.
You got to have a clean, well-sealed container. Then you can start deciding that, okay, in terms of physical development, what are the key issues? But because we know that everything comes from man's mental capacity to make tools to overcome his environment, one will be appropriate education.
Okay.
Appropriate education. Not just education, appropriate education.
So explain that. What would be good, appropriate education? How do you classify that?
Appropriate education is education that will make us produce what we eat and what was the other thing? Make use of environment to produce that things that we can sell for that we can sell to the outside world for our own sustenance. You see, because when you are looking at a country, it's not very different from looking at a home. It's not different. It's about budgeting, income, and expenditure. Okay. So it's about income and expenditure. How much you make and how much you spend. I'll tell you one thing which is very important, and that is about Gordon Godgisberg's 10-year development plan. He realized that to have a sustainable development plan, it must be backed by sustainable income. And when he became governor of Ghana or Gokos in 1919, we were producing only 10,000 tons of cocoa. By the time he left, we were producing 250,000 tons of cocoa, 25 times. And from that, the money that came from what the production of cocoa, the increased production of cocoa, he did so many things without borrowing 1 cent.
Right.
He built our first harbor, Atakradi. He built our first our first teaching hospital at Kolebu. He built our first #1 secondary school, Achimota School. He built Makola and #1, the largest open market in West Africa at that point in time. Monterans came to demolish it. He built all this. He built Osu Market. He built our only children's hospital.
Wow.
He built all these things from the money that he was able to make from cocoa without borrowing a cent.
Right.
Because you see, he had a correct mindset. That's what one man did. Correct mindset. So now, 5 things I will do. First, a new constitution. We need a new state.
Yeah.
Second, education. Okay. Sound mind resides in sound body. Third, health. Third, health.
Yeah.
Now, fourth is going to be infrastructure. Now, all this will require infrastructure. So it's going to be integrated infrastructure. And number five, we're going to expand agro-based industries in Ghana. Agro-based industries. Because we need money to do all these things. Now, I've not agro-based, like for instance, I was talking about cocoa in the rainforest area. Now, 41% of Ghana's land is in the Savannah Belt, northern part of Ghana. Okay, 41%. We have shea butter there. From independence up to now, we don't have shea butter marketing board.
That's insane to me.
Yeah. But shea butter can give us more money than cocoa. Yes. But nobody with the mindset of Godgisberg has thought about it. Nobody
So,
reminds us of God is big.
so is it, so for example, like the shea butter, for example, now, is it in indigenous hands or do foreign nationals own it?
Now it's in indigenous hands.
Okay.
Now let me tell you something. Before you go further, just before independence, Ghana population was 5 million. Okay,
Right.
and at that point in time, we were producing almost 50% of world cocoa, just peasants, no mechanized farming. The only country in the world to do that. At any point in time, the only country to produce 50% of any agricultural produce. But a country of 5 million. So, and I know our capability. What we need is the leadership with the correct mindset.
Yeah.
We can produce, what do you call it? We can produce shea butter that will double our income from cocoa in 10 years. Why is that not possible? With a population of 5 million, we're able to produce almost half of all the cocoa in the world. Now, a population of 30 million, what can we do with the correct leadership? Today, we are producing only 25% of cocoa because of poor leadership. Half. But so, I know my company. Yeah, go ahead.
So, for example, how would, let's just say it's like poor leadership and basically poor leadership. How can the message get over to them? What is the way to get the message to the people? This is what needs to be done in order, excuse me, to help turn the financial situation of the country around. Because if it's in indigenous hands, that's perfect. So they're just is there no one there at all, no one within that movement at all who thinks actually we need a factory, we need to start producing this, we need to start doing what we did with the cocoa all those years ago in order to start turning things around? Is there no one there at all who's doing that right now?
No, because they have the wrong mindset. They believe that development is borrow and build.
Oh,
that's the problem. You see, if it's so simple, we'll not be where we are. You see, if it's simple, they will be having confanoches all over the place or all the. But it's not simple. It comes once in a generation, and until then, David was not the same as somewhere. I saw. We have Saul. The short generation, disaster. But it happened, it got to a point that one person came from somewhere, from the wilderness, from the diaspora, to come and make things happen. You see, all that we are saying is very much like thinking that, but is there nobody in the team to score like Ronaldo or Messi? No, it's different. You can give the same pass, 10 passes to another player, and the person will not score 1. You give 10 to Messi, he will score 9. It's just like that. But they are all playing football. That's the problem we are having. You see, we need politicians with the acumen of Messi, the acumen of Ronaldo, the acumen of Maradona, the acumen of Pele in politics. That they will do the impossible, what you think is not possible. But what you have are the ordinary players all over the place with the absolutely wrong mindset. But we are still talking. I haven't finished. You asked me why Africa is so underdeveloped. Okay. Let's come back to that. I hope we are not going beyond 30 minutes. I was going to
say it's 24 minutes now, so I've got 4 minutes left.
Okay. Now, like I said, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, and subdue the earth. Subdue. If you don't subdue, you'll be subdued. Now, there are those who understand this principle, and they went out to subdue others. They went out to have dominion over the fish in the sea, over the birds in the air, and over every living thing that walks on earth. They have gone beyond that. They have gone beyond having dominion over the fish. They now conquer the sea. They made ships that move on the waves, and they've made submarines that move, that go under this. They've conquered it completely. They've subdued it completely. They've not just had dominion over the birds of the air, but they've made aeroplanes and they've defeated gravity. Now they've actually are going into outer space. They are the ones who dominate because they have made use of the biological potential that we all have. And they have not just they've not had dominion over things that walk on the earth. They control the earth. They control you, they control me, they control Ghana, they control Nigeria. But they are human beings like us. But what they have done is that the Bible says that have dominion. So they said that we are going to have the dominion. What are we doing? And that's why we are where we are. We build institutions that have no meaning. Okay, we said we have African Development Bank. It was built in 1964 as one African country developed. Because it's not about finance, it's not about money, it's about mind. It's about mind. Okay. Yeah. Now, the mind that is fruitful is not the same as the mind that is not fruitful. The mind that understands multiplication is not the same as the mind that doesn't understand it. The mind that understands replenishing is not the same as the mind that doesn't understand it. The mind that understands subdue is not the same as the mind that doesn't understand it. And we don't have these minds. Now, fruitfulness means that you are, like I said, that's the starting point of the 4 principles of development. That's the starting point. That's the agrarian economy. That's the primary economy where people just take from nature. Okay, you got to move from there. You got to multiply it. Once you got from nature, you now have to expand it. And that's what they call manufacturing economy. You take from nature, like I said, agro-base is going to be important in Ghana. We are not just going to produce cocoa and go and sell the beans, or we're not going to produce orange and go and sell the orange. Agro-base, we have to extract from nature, make it more, multiply it, so that we get more money from the simple primary product. Now, we haven't done that. We haven't done that. We still get the things and we send them raw. Then the next one is replenish, because all these things, we have to make sure that we extract from nature and we are able to produce to the extent that we no longer depend on nature. Because if we're going to depend on nature forever, we are going to deplete the stores and we'll be in the crisis that we are now in. But you see, in 1975, like I said before, 96% of UAE's economy was petrol or oil. Today, it's only 6%. They no longer depend on nature. They move into a service economy. They move from primary to service economy. Now they can do it without, if there is no natural resource, they will still survive for the rest of their life. And then,
okay, I'm going to have to stop you there, Dr. Nii. We've gone to our 28 minutes. It's 28 minutes now. Okay, so
it's not a big deal because we'll be doing this thing twice a week now.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you for those who tuned in. I mean, as you can see, there's a lot to unpack about this. So we're careful that we don't rush through it. So where we haven't completed the point in one particular session, we'll pick it up in the next session and then continue with a fresh point there. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to make use of the function where you can type in questions, where you can just connect with us as we're going live stream to let us know you're there, to let us know who you are, what you think, what your thoughts are, any questions you might want to post to Dr. Nii as we are doing the interview. But for myself and Dr. Nii, I would say thank you for joining us. Dr. Nii, as always, it's a pleasure to learn from you and from your wisdom. And I'm looking forward to our show on Saturday. So please join us then and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks for making time for me, Ghana, Nigeria, and Africa.
As always. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye.